Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 4 of the Bacchus OSL semifinals. This is Fantasy versus Jaedong, and this is going to be on Return of the King. At this point, Jaedong now leads the series 2-1, and just with a spectacular performance in Game 3. I'm going to spoil the result of that, obviously, or not the result of it, but the fashion in which Jaedong wins that game. If you have not watched that yet, you really need to see it, as that was just a tremendous game of StarCraft. So now, with his back against the wall, we're gonna really see if Fantasy has the resilience to come back and really create a series out of this by sending it to a 5th game, or if Jaedong is just going to absolutely run him over with this shift in momentum that he is able to direct at current. So Fantasy now, our Terran player in Blue is going to be playing at the 2 or 1 o'clock position, and then Jaedong as our 11 o'clock player as the yellow Zerg, it looks like. So really, at this point, all the confidence in the world has to be on the side of Jaedong. He can play comfortably and really do whatever he wants. Not going to be going for any crazy builds, it looks like, here in the opening moments. Some nice fan art there, actually. I've seen a couple of really cool Jaedong fan art posters in the crowd, but that one's pretty sweet. Anyway, looks like we are going to see standard opening from Jaedong, and it looks like an SCV in place for a non-traditional wall-in from Fantasy, placing his supply depot off to the side, and really, and the spawning pool going down. So now it looks like a 9 pool from Jaedong. So he's going to have links slightly earlier than a traditional overpool builder, his 12-hatch opening that he's been so fond of recently. But anyway, going to Fantasy. Fantasy is known for his innovation and his creative play, and which is completely fair because he's a just tremendously innovative player, and he's done a lot of very creative things in as far as Terran build orders go. But really, the one thing that I just do not like about his play is the ridiculous opening build order in terms of his wall-ins. He just never puts down a traditional wall, and he always likes to correct these factory dependent wall-ins, and I just don't see the point. I really don't. I really don't think that it's as advantageous as he would like to believe it is, and I think it's honestly cost him in certain situations where it really didn't need to. In the meantime, it looks like Jaedong is accurately scouting with his Overlord, so he is going to find Fantasy, despite the fact that he's sent out a drone now to the bottom left. So he's going to find Fantasy not too long from now with this Overlord, and based upon that, he might send those early lings. His 6 lings have been produced and are on the way out of his base, so he might see some early aggression from Jaedong. And again, because Fantasy has opted for this non-standard wall-in, we might see this pressure actually affect some serious problems for Fantasy. I don't know how prepared he is for any of this. And really, at this point, it looks like Jaedong obviously, has his Overlord snuck in there. It looks like he turned it around to maybe give the indication or give Fantasy the thought that he does not know where he is, so that Jaedong might appear to still be playing in the dark. But here come the lings, and now this factory is not completed in any way, shape, or form, but a Marine is out, which is going to be able to provide some support. And these lings are just devastating this factory. At this point, some good micro, but Jaedong does lose one of those lings. But now pulling off some lings is going to be able to take out the Marine. And now Fantasy is in a position. Oh, now a second Marine produced, but he's going to be surrounded quickly. And now those are taken out by the Zerglings. This factory being repaired by 5 different SCVs, 6 different SCVs are repairing this factory, but now being attacked on multiple fronts, and more SCVs being pulled off the line to try and repair this. And it looks like a Jaedong now setting up for the Vulture that's about to be produced from this factory. Oh wow, what play by Jaedong! Just perfect execution right there. Waited for the Vulture to be produced, created a pocket for the surround, and then just absolutely annihilated it. And now just going to continue to put up the pressure. Additional Zerglings coming in for Jaedong, and Jaedong is just going to try and run Fantasy over right here, right now. Just going to put an end to this. Another surround on another Vulture, and that is going to be the game. I do not believe that Fantasy is going to be able to hold out, and as more and more Zerglings just ream in from Jaedong, and all these SCVs are going to try their damnedest to repair this failing wall, but I just do not see it. There's no way that there's anything that he's going to be able to do as Jaedong continues to create a pocket for these Zerglings to allow the vultures to be produced. And another vulture is being produced right now by Fantasy, but it looks like he's going to lose the wall. And at this point, yes, Barracks goes down. He loses the wall, and the Zerglings are going to rush in now and absolutely wreak plentiful havoc in Fantasy's base. Fantasy managing to send out a single vulture, but that is just not going to be enough. SCV's dying left and right, and Jaedong is going to move on to the OSL finals for a second consecutive year. The Golden Mouse is within his sights, and Jaedong has to be feeling just absolutely tremendous. Fantasy is staying true, going to affect some damage with this vulture, probably going to eliminate some drones, but once those Hydralisks pop, this game could not be more over. The second vulture now going to join the ranks, and it looks like, but a second Hydralisk also going to join the ranks for Jaedong, and now all the SCVs being pulled off, all of them headed towards Jaedong's base for a one final last-ditch all-in effort from Fantasy, trying to use those SCVs as a shield, but he does lose additional vulture and only has the one left now. These SCVs are going to fight valiantly, but here come the Zerglings, and this game is over. That vulture is going to go down. We all know it. Fantasy knows it, and now all of Fantasy's work, GG from Fantasy. Jaedong is your winner, and look at that expression of relief from Jaedong. Wow, he has to be super, super happy, and I am super, super happy for him. You can go ahead and throw away those talks about a slump. You can go ahead and throw away all those talks about Jaedong not being prepared, not being just adequately prepared to defend against the onslaught of pressure that has been Fantasy recently. And Fantasy now in the back, just thinking about what just happened. And I mean, I'd have to say that him and Uhu looking visibly disturbed by what happened. Look at that expression on Uhu's face. You just really have to feel for Fantasy to an extent. Having come so far, only to be once again dismissed in in the semifinals, not even making it to the finals this time before he exits the tournament. So quite a disappointing performance for Fantasy in the individual leagues, having been basically dismissed from both of them at this point. But Jaedong really, when you saw the series against Calm and he looked tired and he looked fatigued, I honestly had to imagine that really all the practice that you saw going into that ZVZ series had a lot more to do with the ZVT that Jaedong had been playing against his preparation for Terran. He was practicing for this matchup. He was dead set on winning against Fantasy and getting revenge for himself, getting revenge for his team, and proving to the world that he is still Jaedong and that he is still going to be the man, the third man, to pick up that golden mouse and join the ranks of Nada and July. With only Yellow standing in his way in a ZVZ finals, I would have to say that Jaedong is going to go in as the heavy favorite and expect him to deliver in that finals. Wow, just a historic day in StarCraft and a historic series of games from Jaedong. And again, just look at the disappointment on Fantasy's face as it all sinks in. Basically, Fantasy, such a creative player, such a good player, but at the end of the day, just was not able to overcome the monster that is Jaedong. And Jaedong now, with his coach, with his teammates, could not be in a better place as he prepares to go ahead and advance in this tournament. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this series as much as I did. What a fantastic group of games of StarCraft. Once again, hope to see you guys sometime in the near future. We'll be doing as many commentaries as possible, may do the finals, since, you know, a Zerg versus Zerg will be relatively quick and easy to cast. So, see you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This has been Weapons Left. GG.
그 우려를 한 방에 부식시킨 거예요. 그냥 1승 가지고는 안 되는 거예요. 이재동 어쨌건 저 모종에게 나라까지 가라앉을 뻔했었던 이재동이 다시 수면 위로 헤엄쳐서 올라오려면